Hey everybody, welcome back to the Flannel Phillip channel. I am really excited that I get to show you this truck. It's owned by my buddy Nick Nelson. He's going to give us a full tour of it, so stick around. So, Nick, tell us a little bit about this machine.
This is a 1970 Peterbilt 359 ST. ST stood for steel frame. This is a steel frame with aluminum cross members. This truck has a 212 wheelbase. You got a Big Cam 400 Cummins in it.
Sure.
It's got a 9-speed with a 4-speed auxiliary behind it, an 8341 auxiliary. Original Pete air ride, original fuel tanks. Originally this truck came with a Peterbilt factory single bunk and a 335 with a 4 and a 4, what you'd call like a divorce box. So they're two separate boxes, not a married box.
Right, okay.
This truck is kind of spent its life pretty much hauling grain. Western Minnesota up to northern, up into Canada, out west and around Minnesota, kind of a regional truck.
Sure.
It used to run hay up into the north, up into Alaska, or I'm sorry, Canada.
Okay, but primarily the upper Midwest its whole life, as far as you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I bought the truck in 2002.
Okay.
Bought the truck, and the thing was completely corroded. It was really bad. It's got 3.5 million plus miles on it.
Yeah.
The hood was replaced. The guy had pulled out of a truck stop and snagged the hood and wrecked the old heavy hood that was on it. So it was replaced back in the day with a different, newer 359 hood.
Okay.
In 2002, when I had bought it, my friend Luke Cornelius and I had stripped the entire truck, the hood, the fenders, the roofs, the door. There's only one panel on, I think it's this door right here, that was never replaced, but the doors were too bad to be salvageable, so we ended up getting some doors out of California. Okay. Some corrosion-free, some corrosion-free doors for that.
Sure,
and then, of course, you strip the paint, and the one panel is full of Bondo. So
right.
At the time, you could still buy that. I bought the last 4 Peterbilt factory panels out of Rockford, Illinois for it.
Okay. Yep.
And we reskinned the doors. Still have a couple in the shed.
Huh.
Excuse me. Hood panels, we reskinned those. They weren't that bad, but we just went ahead and did that.
Okay.
The roof panels, you couldn't get the roof corners anymore.
Oh, sure.
They're steel, and the originals were aluminum.
Okay.
So we ended up, Luke and I, taking a later model 359 roof corners, and you cut the centers out, and then you torch them around the front of the cab.
Huh.
The center skin was made at Cortland Truck Works.
Okay.
20 years ago almost.
Wow.
And that came from them.
Boy, you guys did a fantastic job up there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I mean, kind of parts from all over the place. You know?
What color was the truck originally?
Originally, it was like a candy apple blue and white.
Okay.
Like a Seminoles paint job.
Yeah.
Candy apple blue and white.
Yep. Yep. I love these colors. I really do. That's an awesome choice.
And
really cool.
I mean, a couple years. Well, the sleeper came out of Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Came out of Oregon. I traded a Mercury for a Mercury.
Sure.
I had one of the Van Hoosen brothers, Gary's. They ran like St. Paul to the Northwest back in the 70s.
Sure.
And a big double bunk Mercury, and one of his friends wanted it, so we traded for this. It's a 74 model, 1974 34-inch Mercury.
Yeah. Okay. So it would be period correct, really, for the truck if somebody.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if in 70 they had the T-handle or not.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
A little bit newer style handle.
Sure.
Like
sure.
the other Mercury's got T-handles on it.
Right. Wow. It's in awesome shape.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in beautiful shape when we got it, and that's what a little dusty, I guess.
It's all right. Did you redo all the? That's all original.
Nope, that's it. Just the bed cover we had made, just to kind of cover up the foam pad under there for a mattress.
But this is all original vinyl.
Original vinyl.
Really? Oh,
So
I didn't know
made a
that.
shelf in here for your stuff.
Sure.
But
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Wow. I had thought you'd redone this, but this is all original stuff from '72, huh?
74.
74.
Yep.
74. Okay. Wow. Love that. Did all Mercuries have one small window on the back, or were they ordered different ways?
As far as I've seen, yeah, they've all had. Some of them had a split window.
Okay.
Or one piece of glass, but they had like a bar between it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the other one on the Kenworth over
Or
there.
some were crank outs and some were tip outs, or anything like that. Or
Yep.
you could,
Well, most of them cranked out. Yeah.
crank out. Okay.
Crank out, and then the later ones had kind of an oval window, and you'd slide them open to the
Right.
side.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
there was a lot of parts that came. I mean, a friend of mine down in Kentucky made me these battery boxes.
Sure.
He had a fab shop. He made them down in Kentucky and shipped them up here.
Very cool.
A lot of parts come out of C.O. Bruce, Joe Bruce, who had passed away here
Okay.
a year or so ago down in Blum, Texas. He owned a massive fleet of little window Pete's.
Sure.
So there's a lot of parts on here that came from Joe too. I still have 2 of his little single bunks that came out of his fleet that I was actually going to put on here, but it never ended up happening. Put a Mercury on instead. So
Sure. Yep.
yeah.
Awesome. I love that you go with the Steelies in the back, things
Yeah.
like that. I think that's super cool.
Something different, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Didn't see much of that 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like a lot of guys have kind of gotten into that again.
Totally. Take us inside, because that is really something you guys did on the interior of this truck. It's phenomenal.
So the interior in here originally was a olive green mesh.
Okay.
Mesh.
Yep.
And that was pretty well corroded. There was a roof air on the truck originally,
Okay.
and when we ended up taking
A rooftop AC.
Yep.
Okay.
One big unit up there, and so when we ended up taking the roof cap down, I mean there was water that was poured out of the roof. That's pretty funny.
Wow.
So a friend of mine had a little window Pete, and he didn't like the interior in it.
Okay.
And so he ended up just giving it to me. And come to find out, it's a St. Louis interior. There was an interior shop back in the day down in St. Louis behind the truck stop that would just make custom interiors for all different kinds of trucks, you know.
Sure.
And so this was a St. Louis interior.
Wow.
It almost matches the Sleeper. Sleeper's a little bit more blood red. This is a little bit ox blood, or however you want to say it.
Sure.
Getting the hole to line up, we had to make kind of a special boot for that. It's not perfect, but it does work.
I think it looks great.
I had the saddle shop in town make up a curtain for me with some diamond stitching in it.
Yeah. Super cool.
Yeah, the original, the other steering wheel that came out of here, I got a white bone one from C.O. Bruce down in Texas.
Okay.
Probably about 2013, I want to say. Like I say, every year you kind of do something more. You know? Still got to find an original radio for it. Those are kind of getting hard to find.
Sure. Sure.
The floor, we ended up getting some rough cut oak from a flooring company up north a friend of mine owned, and we put it in and took some African babinga wood is what it is, and my friend Adam we routed out the floor, and he scroll sawed all these pedals, all these little things on top of the shifter knob.
Wow.
Made all that sort of stuff by hand, and then we inlaid all that, made all the trim work around the shifters.
Yeah.
So it ended up working out real good.
The detail level is just off the charts. I love it.
Usually we take the screws out and buff them out so they look like a trumpet, nice and bright. But like I say, I'm falling behind on projects and keeping my screws buffed out. So.
I love the polished dash, and tell me about the signatures you have here.
Signatures. The guys that were at Casson a couple years back, many years ago, we got Robbie V.
Cool.
Brian Mott, I think Mott is his name, down at Guilty by Association guys.
Sure.
Gene Olson, who used to own Perkle Truck Line out of Madison. I think there's a couple other G-Man, which was like from that Trick by Truck. Those guys were on that TV show.
Sure. Yep.
Brian ended up having his family and the family who owned my gray truck were really close, so he kind of took a liking to all that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Bus glass. Man, that's cool. Switch
Yeah, we got a
extensions,
little
all.
crack in the one, but oh well.
Hey. We wouldn't know that if you didn't point that kind of stuff out. Oh, very cool. Climb back out here. Well, cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of parts that were made. You know, had a friend of mine's fab shop make me up some stainless strip rail for it.
Sure.
The visor came from a hay manger that a buddy, his dad had.
Is that right?
Laid in a hay manger up by Kenyon, and he's like, "Go and get it. You can have it." And so
That is so cool.
this bumper was brand new, NOS, 11, 12-inch bumper from C.O. Bruce down in Texas.
Yeah. Yep.
He was still in a box up in his attic.
Oh.
These Perlux lights came from a friend of mine up in the cities that he was still in a brand new box, all the wiring harness and everything.
Wow.
So it was kind of hard to put that bumper on here. We didn't even let the bolts turn when we did it, you know, try and keep all the words
Because you don't want to,
straight,
scratch it up and
you know?
ding it. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yep, yep.
So every time it gets dark and the truck's got to go for a drive, you kind of fear for deer, you know?
Right, absolutely. Well, man, this is such a gorgeous ride. I absolutely love this thing. So,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for giving us a tour.
Absolutely.
Well, if you stuck around to the end of the video, thank you so much for coming along. I really appreciate people supporting the channel. I love having friends like Nick Nelson with excellent taste in cool old trucks. So thanks for coming along. Peace and grease, everybody.
Back in the day with a different, newer 359. Edit that one.
Sure. Yeah.